Greetings from home, dear ones. We greet you this day with a very special, unique message. For you have gathered many times, not only on planet Earth, but throughout the universe. There is a special select group of spirits that have literally gone where they were needed throughout the universe over and again. And many of you are collected on planet Earth right now. You are the family of E, we call you. Now, what does the E stand for? Is it incredibly important that you have E's in your name? No, of course not. And in truth, the E vibration that you use in your languages, which happens to be the most common sound of all languages, is also representative in other places throughout the universe. So that is one commonality. So to translate that and tell you the E stands for empowerment, or the E stands for enlightenment, or any translation of that would not actually do you justice. You are simply the family of E. Now, what has the family of E done? Why are you so unique? And why is it a family? Well, very simple. You have a united purpose. You have an intent to be wherever it is, because it is only recently on planet Earth. Yes, you are travelers of the universe, dear ones. You have been here incorporating your gifts, but you've been many places throughout the universe, and you're called in when there's a need. There's a need on Earth. What is the gifts? What are the gifts of the E family? The family of E vibration brings so much in the way of love, because one of the biggest challenges that people have is turning around and loving themselves. Being able to see and embrace their own reflection in all of its perfection and all of its imperfection, all of its beauty, all of its less than beauty, you might call it. But that is a human judgment, dear ones. You understand that really what takes place here is that many times, if you are in an environment, we will simply call it a society. And over time, those societies develop certain rules. They call them guidelines. Sometimes they are turned into laws where they are imposed on other people. But they are basically the set of guidelines to where people can get along. And even with all the sets of guidelines that have created, there are many times when humanity gets completely off track and starts working against and bringing down the vibrations instead of bringing them up. That's when the call goes out to the universe for the family of E. It went out some time ago. And here you are. You're the magicians on the game board. You're the ones that can come in and ground your light, sometimes by telling others, sometimes by being a teacher, sometimes by being a healer, and sometimes just by being who you are. And grounding that light and that wisdom from home. Some of you study for it. We find that fascinating that some of you go take classes and learn certain things. Well, we find it fascinating too, because we teach some of those classes. But we also tell you, dear ones, you're not learning, you are remembering. All of you are. You have such gifts behind you. And if only we can help you hold up the mirror in front of you just long enough for you to get a glimpse of really who you are, you won't doubt that you are part of a larger picture. And you also see that right now on planet Earth is a real incredible time that you can ground this light and bring all the vibrations of humanity to a higher level. Last month when we gathered with you, we asked you to do something very challenging. And we actually told you that over the next 90 days, you would have a window of opportunity. You are now roughly 30 days into that window. The window is an opportunity for you to express humanness in some form. For that is really what makes this game special. The humanity that you can bring to each other. The opportunity for you to express in the body of another person to be able to see the light from home. That is magical. These are the energies that you now work with every day. And every day they shift a little bit for you to do something new. But we tell you, dear ones, the call for the E family has gone out again. And there will be somewhat of a baby boom with new E's coming in. They will be so magical, so wonderful. Treat them well. Welcome them to planet Earth. Share with them your successes and your failures. Share with them your experiences of pretending to be a human on planet Earth inside of a dense physical body. And know that you're incredibly enlightened in ways that you don't always remember. But you carry the essence of the E family. And at any time where you are overwhelmed, any time where you are confused about your next steps, any moment where you're not quite sure where the next step's going to be, just take a breath and let the rest of the family touch your heart. That is where this is going. Many of you study for this journey. You learn things and you gain knowledge because you know knowledge is power. And that is absolutely true. When you gain knowledge of something, you gain power over it. But is power really what you're after? We're going to ask you to step to the next level of that equation. For if knowledge is power, wisdom is grace. And that's your next step. Stepping out of the game of humanity altogether, the game of duality, the game of right and wrong and up and down and black and white, every other part of it. We find it amazing to watch what is going on in your planet, especially in the way of your elections going on in the United States. When you look at those, you can imagine that we are watching them also. Absolutely amazed at what is taking place. And we tell you, dear ones, you have had a bit of a challenge in the fact that in the United States you have completely polarized everything so far that you're actually starting to see the end of your two-party system. It's actually breaking down right now and going to start dividing in a new way. This is due to the family of E. When things don't work, the E family comes in and offers something new. Is it always right? Is it always accepted? No, not always. But you're always there. You're always looking for that next step to empower the others, to keep the energy moving in the most effective way, to find the path of least resistance in your own life, and then turn around and offer it to others. That is the family of E. The family of E can awaken many hearts on the planet. But that is all you need, dear ones. When you turn around and work with another being and help them remember their own empowerment and their own abilities to walk as a conscious creator on planet Earth, then you are doing the work of the grand family of E vibration. For that is what you're here to do, to awaken the others. One heart at a time. It's not a race. It's not a competition. It's just a general step in each direction to try and open as many hearts and touch them with your experience as you can. And that will happen in many ways. Now, some of you say, well, I am not a healer. I don't have a special touch. I can't do the things that others can do. That is correct. But you have other gifts. You have gifts that others cannot do if you find them, if you ground them, if you start to use them. And once you start to ground them and bring them into a practical use in any form, you make space for more. The channel starts to flow on a consistent basis. That is very magical indeed. That's when everything becomes synchronistic. Everything seems to fall in place very magically, and you have this synchronistic lifestyle which you've always dreamed about. The family of E can bring that to you, for you are but one. The rest are starting to gather even more on planet Earth than ever thought. For you understand, dear ones, most of you started coming in some anywhere from 70, 80, 90, up until recently 20 years ago. But now you're going to see a new wave of energy coming in. We are not going to call them by a special name, because at this point, dear ones, names can get in your way more than anything else. But we will definitely tell you they are from the family of E. They are here to empower people in all new ways, to give them hope, to enlighten your dreams, to set things into motion for you so that you can have the life that you want, not only for yourself, but for the collective vibration of humanity. Dear ones, you hold a magical position, even where you are. You call yourselves light workers. We love that. Many of you are masters of the light in many ways. And it simply means that you have an intent to spread conscious light on planet Earth. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, to do that, there are certain things that you need. There are support systems that you need. There is confidence that you need. There's the ability to step out and make mistakes. There's a lot of things. And they're all available to you. Once you set your energy into motion, you will call in others. There will be many that gather from the family of E. And we tell you, dear ones, we gave the Keeper something some time ago when we started these channels through the Keeper. And we also tell you, dear ones, some 20 years ago when we started bringing this messages through the Keeper, we told him that it was not necessary for him to call this a channel. We told him it was not necessary for him to point to other beings outside of himself, that he could literally bring through all of this information under the name that he carried through his life, Steve Rother. And he chose something else. He chose to call himself a channel. Yes, perhaps the ego had a little challenge with that. Perhaps that was too much for his ego to take. But we also honor, because it makes no difference how you carry it, as long as you carry it. Some of you will be professional channels. Some of you will be professional teachers that stand in front of thousands and heal them with your words, with your energy, with your light. And some of you will just hold the light right where you are. Tap into the collective vibration of humanity and feed everything with your grace. Now, what is grace? Grace is the synchronistic lifestyle that we mentioned. Grace is what happens to energy. If you have energy and you release energy in any form, it always finds the path of least resistance. Always. You have that ability if you don't overthink it sometimes. And if you simply allow yourself to flow this energy, no matter what words you put on it, for that was the big challenge that we had in the beginning with him. He had been talking to people in what he called a chat room. And all these people in the chat room were coming up with all these channels, and they had these grand, wonderful names. This one over here was called Cthulhu, and this one over here was called Harandos. And over here, there are all these people coming through from the other side of the veil, and you had to remember all their names and what level of vibration they were from, because that was part of their identification. That was part of how you identified them. And in truth, many people only listened to specific channels that they thought had very high vibrations. We find that fascinating. You are playing such a beautiful game of pretending to be humans, but yet you have not forgotten who you really are. You are spirits of the greatest nature. And you've come to bring your light to planet Earth at a very critical time, a time where you can help to ground a fluttering humanity. We've asked you to practice your humanness. We've asked you to look at your own prejudices. Everyone has them. Some of them you call favorite things. Whatever it is, it's not right or wrong. And it's not that you must release all of your prejudice, but you should know about them. That allows you to practice your humanity. Because that's why the family of Eve came in. To bring humanity back to humanity. Have you noticed that everything seems to be going a little crazy right now? All of your little organizations are suddenly kind of dissolving and reforming, and even your own lives are trying to find new groundings in new ways. That is actually as it should be. For what lies ahead for all of humanity is greatness beyond your understanding. You now have capabilities of taking this to a whole nother level. Now, in the beginning of our channeling, the Keeper wanted to know who we were, what level of dimension we were from, and what credentials we had so that he could feel comfortable in bringing our message through. And we told him we would not give him any at all. And he had another person who was actually a professional channel who said, if they won't tell you who their names are, do not channel them. They're the bad guys. He believed that. About 3 minutes. But we had already touched his heart. He knew it. So now he's wrestling with his brain. Well, everybody's telling me they're bad guys, but I felt their love. I felt their energy. Very shortly after that, he excused the gentleman that told him that, released that, and came back to us and said, knock, knock, are you still there? And we said, of course we're still there. We've never left you for the last 12 lifetimes. What makes you think we'd leave now? And he said, well, if you won't tell me what level of dimension you're from, please tell me why you won't tell me that. Ah, now you have asked a question. Now you have grounded light in a new way. And of course, the reason, dear one, is simply humans will put power into labels. Sometimes you put power into your own belief systems about what the labels mean, when in truth, you have the essence to filter it all through your own heart and take only the vibrations that feed you. That is discernment. And that is the first tool of the family of E. To find what feeds each one of you so that you can turn around and make a difference on this planet in some way. Some of you will speak to crowds. Some of you will work one-on-one. Some of you will write to other people, and you'll never meet some of these people, but they will follow your vibrations, and they will gain from them. So in the very beginning of the work that we started with the Keeper, for at one point he said, okay, just give it to me. And he put his fingers lightly on the keyboard, and we told him to write the first word, the, T-H-E, and he did. And the moment that happened, another word came, and another word came, and another word came. And pretty soon he's typing just as fast as he can, and the tears are flowing. He shed a lot of tears on those first books because we touched his heart in such a way that he remembered the family of E. He remembered a little bit about who he was and some of the things that he had made commitments to do before he came to this planet, this time. And we gave him something at that point, and he has hung on to it from that point. For when we started to bring through these messages, we ended them in a certain way. And although we have always said, treat each other with respect, nurture one another, and play well together, we added something else in the very beginning. Big hugs and gentle nudges. That is what we send to the family of E. The big hugs and gentle nudges from this side of the veil, so that you can remember who you are and the path that you chose to be on. You are awakening from the dream at an incredible pace on planet Earth. And as your eyes open and the sleep starts to remove from the eyes, we will be there smiling, greeting you home in the most beautiful ways that we can. Enjoy this journey, dear ones. Know that every part of it is strictly for you. You are a conscious creator walking every step of the way. Be proud of your heritage and the family of E. And with that, we tell you, please treat each other with respect. Nurture one another at every opportunity. Play the new game of Planet Earth well together. Big hugs, gentle nudges, a spotlight.